Hi, I'm Bob Lacy with Henke Manufacturing in Leavenworth, Kansas. We're going to highlight some of the points that operators and maintenance personnel will need to be familiar with. Most important, starting out when you're operating the machine, is in the plowing position. You want to keep the push frame of the plow parallel to the ground, and the easiest way for that to be indicated to you up in the cab is for this post to be perpendicular to the ground. The post is at a right angle to the frame, so if the post is perpendicular, your push frame is parallel to the ground, and we can show you why this is important. I'll have Ken, our sales engineer, put it in an improper position for you that we often see, and we'll show you what results from that. So okay, tilt forward. We'll often find that operators will start out in this position, which is a bucket edge down position. And I see a lot of Bobcat operators operate like this. They'll tip the bucket forward and stand the machine up on the cutting edge and scrape snow or try and clean dirt. And it's bad practice when we have combo snow plow configuration like this. As I mentioned before, the post needs to be perpendicular to the ground, indicating the push frame is parallel to the ground. Because of what happens when you try to angle the plow in this position. This is the center pin of the plow, and the plow angling back and forth is able to maintain its parallel cutting edge to the ground. If you tip it forward or roll it back, say you tip it forward, as you angle now, the pivot pin's not perpendicular, the post isn't perpendicular, pivot pin's not going to be perpendicular. So now when you angle, let's say you angle to the right, now your left cutting edge point is going to dig into the ground. Conversely, if you angle left, your right cutting edge is going to be hitting the ground. So we want to get that push frame perpendicular so it'll angle back and forth. Okay, so Ken is going to angle the plow left, and you can see how the plow will dig into the ground. That's what's going to happen. Now the swivel can compensate for that to some extent. So if Ken puts down pressure on, you'll see the swivel plate oscillate to compensate. It'll compensate for some out of position operation, but there's a limit to what it can compensate for. So we're going to lower that. You can see how the swivel plate is somewhat offset here now. But still it's the case that as you angle the plow to a greater degree, you're going to use up more and more of your swivel, and at some point you're going to hit the swivel stops and you'll lose your swivel. So there's only so much out of position operation the swivel plate can compensate for. And you may need extra swivel if you go over some dips in the road or some uneven contours. You need all the swivel that's available to you and not have any taken up by out of position operation. The other thing that's impacted by operating out of position with your REL plow is the wing. The wing's also affected. As you tilt forward and the post comes forward, you're moving the post and the wing away from the rear brace. There's a rear brace that holds the wing out against the snow load and also helps the wing stow. It's called our push beam, is attached to the rear of the frame, so that as you roll the bucket forward or tilt the plow forward and the post comes forward, this push beam stays in the same spot. So your post is moving away from your rear brace, wanting to stretch the rear brace, and it can't stretch. So we'll show you what happens. Since we have some play in the wing, it's not tucked into the machine all the way. As you roll forward, we'll take up some of that distance, and what happens, that wing will get sucked into the machine. And so Ken will roll forward slightly, and you'll see the wing get sucked into the machine. Okay, now the wing is stopped. It's hit the stop on the push beam. It can't go in any farther. So now if he rolls forward more, there's a tendency for something to break, because the distance from here to here is fixed. It can't get any longer when he rolls the plow forward. So we've taken care of that though with this relief valve. We call it the mud rock valve. That's an acronym for make up dual relief over center. More information you need to know, but we've built in a line relief to take care of this increasing distance, and we do that by allowing this rod to extend out. Even without touching any other control, the rod can extend out on its own under a relief mode. Oil will go back to tank. We'll allow this rod to extend out. Oil will come out this tube and be relieved to tank through this mud rock valve and the tank return line. So as Ken continues to roll forward, you'll be able to see this rod extend. Go ahead and tilt down, Ken. The rod extended out another inch under relief mode to keep things from breaking. But again, if you get way out of position, there's a limit to how much this rod can play out. Once you bottom the rod out, you've lost all your travel, and you'll break something. Break an ear or a cylinder, a wing mount. So the moral of the story is watch your operators, especially if they're new on the machine, guys that are just unloading the new machine. Make sure you don't put it up in the air and get it way out of position or dumping or rolling back, because that'll cause damage. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Hope it was informative. Any questions, call Henke Tech Services or your salesman at Henke in Leavenworth. Thanks.